Hello again, everyone. Thank you for joining today, and sorry for this webinar being moved to another date. It's supposed to have happened in May, but well, due to some technical issues, we couldn't do it. But today, we are still planning to tell you about some secrets for dark store automation. And we are going to do it in the series of our product webinars, which we are having almost every month. And today, my name is Anastasia Nikolaicheva, and I am going to tell you about some secrets of automizing dark stores. Mainly, basically, we are going to focus on some huge important challenges that need to be overcome so building a dark store business would be successful. We'll focus on each of those challenges, and we'll see how our systems in Younger Tech and our expertise sees these challenges and how those challenges can be solved. Also, we're going to talk, of course, about potential benefits that can be um, gathered from all of those actions, and we'll leave a bit time in the end of the webinar for Q&A. Okay, let's then start. First of all, for some of our newcomers, let me just quickly remind you of what Younger Tech Retail actually offers. And then we're gonna go from like generic, general question to some more specific ideas. First of all, let me remind you that Younger Tech Retail basically offers full technological stack for automizing e-commerce for e-grocery. Basically, we cover everything from client application or website and all the tools around it that make it work in the way it should work, to order preparation with the picker application and WMS system, and last mile delivery, which is also something really important and needs to be worked out perfectly. So today, since our topic for today is dark stores, we are focusing on order preparation, and order preparation can be very different depending on the fulfillment model that you are using in your business. It could be shelf picking from offline store, it could be a gray store, or a dark store. And today we are focusing on the dark store technology and our solutions that we provide for that model. So basically for dark stores, we are offering some specific set of solutions. It is WMS system for full control of inventory and making sure that inventory is almost perfect, and picker application, which is basically the same system, but it is configured as an application for our dark store employees, how we call them storekeepers or pickers. So they understand what to do at each point of time, and each of their actions are totally controlled and logged in the picker application. Basically, by the combination of that solution, we can see in details today what can be done and how we can achieve more transparency in our data, how we can achieve optimized operations, how we can achieve better analytics performance, and more great stuff for improving the business operations. So let's come to the 5 challenges, what we are going to focus on today. And first of those challenges is inaccurate stock data. Of course, inventory is a huge problem, but actually the dark store model is that model that can help you to overcome most of the common challenges. Because since it's dark store, it's not offline store where we have different channels of purchases, right? So there are no offline customers in dark store, and we can control everything. So we can actually move to on shelf availability close to like 99%, and that will actually result in less missing items and overall customer satisfaction, of course. And that, of course, also leads to better results overall. Second challenge that we are going to discuss today is lack of inventory visibility. So when we don't understand how many items we have in this dark store or that dark store, it is actually very hard for us to inform our customers in the right way about the assortment and the stocks of each item. Basically, what we are trying to do is to show the actual assortment and the actual stock level in real time. So our customers are never able to even order something that is missing in our dark store. The third challenge is inefficient warehouse processes. And here, of course, we should understand that a lot of standard processes can be totally automized. And we're going to talk about the ways how we can do that. And actually, there are many ways how we can decrease cost per order by decreasing manual labor and work with papers or anything like that. So basically, there is a lot to do in improving warehouse processes and operations. And of course, there is a huge thing called demand planning. Demand planning is something that, of course, needs to be done, because without proper demand planning, you will never know how many items of each SKU you should deliver to each of your dark stores, you should supply to each of your dark stores. And if you don't work on assortment, if you don't work on the right quantities, of course, success is almost impossible here. And the last but not least, analytics. We, of course, are going to talk about analytics. Why is it important? But I think it's kind of a given. But we are still going to cover that topic, and we'll see what we propose for sufficient analytics for dark stores. So basically, these are the 5 challenges that we are going to focus on. And please, if you have faced those challenges in your work, if you probably have your ways of overcoming them, that would be great if you leave us a comment in the comment section in the Zoom. So it would be just great if you did that. And in the end of the session, we can discuss that, and we'll see how it is it synced with everything that I'm going to say later. So, and of course, if you have any questions, just feel free to post them in the comment section, and we'll, of course, come to them in the very end of the session. So let us begin then. So challenge 1, inaccurate stock data. Of course, we understand why this challenge is a problem. Why is it even present, right? Because we are people, and when people are working, they tend to make mistakes. There are some human errors that are inevitable. Of course, also in the grocery business, especially in the dark store model, we tend to hire people who are of a low experience and maybe of a low qualification, and sometimes that leads to fraud, let's say that. unfortunately, it's not like a myth that fraud happens. And of course, if we are not controlling that in any way, we will never make efficient processes, and will never make our business work. Basically, what to do so everything works great? We need to address all the reasons, and we need to address that challenge. Because if we do not address it, there will be stockouts, missing item, lost sales, low customer satisfaction, and basically that is something that we need to work on definitely. And what solution I want to talk about right now? We have to perform continuous stock control process here. So we are not only putting a lot of effort into accepting items, performing and executing bin location in the dark store or a warehouse. We are also forced to always check how accurate our stock is. So basically, how do we do that? When we are starting to accept items in our dark store, right? So there is some ERP system or some like commerce module that you use. And in that system, you just place purchase order for some of your suppliers. And that purchase order triggers acceptance task in our WMS. So basically, nothing needs to be done here. It's just a matter of integration. That acceptance task is created, and at the same time, when the delivery actually comes, picker employee, right, storekeeper, he gets that task with a sound notification in the picker application. So when the picker gets that task, he starts to accept all the items, and there are different types of acceptance. It can be like a simplified acceptance process. It can be standard acceptance process, depending on your relationship with the supplier. So basically, we scan either every item, or we scan each pallet and count items manually. Well, it's actually your choice depending on the supplier that you work with. But anyway, there is control here on how much items arrived of each SKU in this pallet and this supply. We take control of that. After that, after the acceptance has been made, automatic task is created just like after the acceptance task has been finished. Place to sell task is created. And what do we mean by place to sell tasks? Basically, in dark stores, we are using bin location. And that means that every item has its own shelf, and each item is linked to this shelf. So when our pickers are going to prepare the order, they know where to go exactly to which shelf to come. And that is why that is actually how we prove the high speed of the order preparation and the overall efficiency. So right after all the items are accepted, we actually place them on the shelves that our system actually supposes us to put them on. And when the picker or like storekeeper completes that task, the items are automatically available for sale in the client application, client website, or whatever platform you're using for your items. So let's see how that acceptance process looks. Just as I said, in ERP, we create a purchase order, acceptance task appears automatically. Then the supplier in real life, he actually drives to the dark store and delivers goods. And then we generate all the necessary documents. They are automatically generated in our WMS system. And then that information is also sent back to ERP so we could confirm the delivery, the acceptance of delivery. And of course, that is happening with the help of our picker application where we scan everything and each item is scanned and logged that it is being accepted. Also, place to sell process. Basically, it's just continuation of what we just discussed, right? So place to sell task created just after acceptance task has been finished. And we are seeing here, okay, this pack of chips, I just need to place it on the shelf. Let's call it A5, right? And I'm also checking the expiration dates here. It's also very important part. So I would know that our like pallet of this pack of chips here has like a certain expiration date. And that's how we put that information into our system so it would trigger later automatic expiration dates control. But we'll talk about that a little later. So basically, after we put those items on the shelf, they are placed on the right shelf, and right after that task has been completed, they are automatically available in the client application for sale. That is actually like the real timeline of that happening is like around several seconds. So it shouldn't be even minutes, it's around several seconds. And that actually also something that is really important here. Due to this chain of actions, we ensure that only in-stock items are displayed in the client application. And that's how we actually try to ensure that there are going to be no missing items. So we make it almost impossible for our end customers to order something that is not in stock at that particular dark store. Okay, let's come to another challenge now, and that is going to be actually, of course, the continuation of the story about the dark stores here. And that second challenge is lack of operational visibility. And of course, we understand why it happens. When we are accepting our supplies or manually with the help of like paperwork and nothing is centralized, there is no system where we check that acceptance and place like the items to the particular shelves. Of course, there will be like discrepancies and of course we will never know how many items of that SKU we actually have. So and this actually causes all the same issues, lost sales, missing items, and we are not even being able to identify if problems are occurring. We are not being even able to identify where is this problem coming from and who is responsible. So that is actually something that we also need to focus on and work on. Basically, I have already briefly mentioned that, but we try to centralize all the data tracking and do all the live updates possible. So basically, everything that our storekeepers do, each item acceptance, each place to sell operation, each write-off, each order, of course, order preparation, it all is just logged in our system. And whenever we find some discrepancies in analytics solution in the dashboards, whenever we find some mistakes or like low KPI, we can dive deep, very deep, even to like a single operation, and we can see who's responsible for that operation, and we can dive into metrics of that particular employee, and that employee will also be just transparent before our eyes, because we track each of their actions, and we can see their average metrics. We can see their each of the orders that they have prepared. So basically, that is something that should be done here. So what do we mean exactly, right, by data tracking here? First of all, we always know our stock levels. All the assortment that is available in the client application and the quantity of each of those items are always available in our WMS system, and the same information is displayed in client application due to integration, of course. And moreover, we can see by each SKU, we can see and like download or see it right in the WMS, the report on each of inventory movements of that item. So we can see like that we delivered 500 pieces of like that juice, for example, and we can see how one by one has been ordered, and we can see that some of them were written off because of expiration date coming, or we can see that some of them were lost, and we can see who registered that loss, and we can see we can try to dive deeper and find the reason why like a bunch of items were actually lost here. That is actually how it happens, right? Since we keep all the actions that are happening in our dark store logged, we of course do it distributed by operations. There are many types of operation that can happen. They could require information about order preparation. It could be acceptance placing, it could be inventorization, it could be different kinds of recounts, or some different types of orders that we are operating with in our dark store. And each of that operations is logged. We can always see the responsible person, we can see the current status if it was canceled, and we can see and find all the necessary details about it. And of course, one of our best things regarding order management, we stress that point that it's very important to see what is actually happening in the store right now. And that is why we created a dashboard which is showing information about every operation of that dark store in real time. So we always see how many orders are waiting for the preparation right now, how many of them are preparing, how many of them are ready for pickup, how many of them are delivering. We see who is responsible for those orders, right? Who are the couriers, who are the storekeepers, and we can jump to their pages right from this dashboard. And basically, that's how we also prove the transparency. And even if slightly, even for slight change of timeline at each step of order preparation, we can see, for example, if preparation, for example, like in average, it should happen, it should take like around 10 minutes or like 7 minutes. It is, of course, set up by us in configurations regarding like actual business that we are working with. And let's say preparation should take around 7 minutes. And as soon as it takes more than 7 minutes, we are highlighting that operation right now, that order, with the red color right on the dashboard. So the store supervisor, who is actually looking at this dashboard all the time, he just sees what is the problem, and he can come to that picker, he can contact that picker by phone, or he can text him and like ask what's happening, what is the problem with the order. We don't want to be late with the delivery. And the same with the couriers, of course. If we see that delivery is late, we can just identify that person and try to ask what is going wrong. And of course, everything that has been delayed here is logged. So we will always know by the average metrics of our employees that their performance is being quite low. And that is actually what I was coming to. So about each employee, we have storekeepers and the couriers. We have transparent information, and we log each of their actions and just summarize that data and count their average metrics. So basically for storekeepers, it's something like how many items they have collected, how many orders they prepared, the average preparation speed of one piece, the average order preparation time, and we can actually build a rating of our dark store employees and see who is like the fastest. And at the same time, of course, we will see who is the slowest. And according to that data, according to that information, we are actually able to maybe pay them accordingly or maybe give them less or more bonuses. So that's actually also how we control our pickers. And of course, if they are aware of their actions being totally controlled, they of course would try to make their performance better and better. It could even encourage some kind of competition. So they would be really encouraged to be like the fastest one. So they would be promised a bonus for that, for example. And that is actually some gamification in the everyday processes that will motivate them to be faster, to make accurate decisions, and it will, of course, benefit us all. So, next challenge that we need to discuss is inefficient dark store processes. So, I started with inaccuracies of stock data. I talked about automated operations and data transparency. But of course, it can never work without core processes being installed in the very beginning. Basically, during our implementation phase, when we are signing like with when we are signing a contract with a new customer, we start a design phase, and in that phase, we are deciding how actually that dark store should look, where it should be located if the location is not yet identified, how it should be planned, what is going to be the layout of the dark store, and what areas are we going to use for what items, because that is actually really important. And we, of course, have like our great implementation team who are responsible for helping our customers with planning that. And basically, we plan that together with our customers, and we just come out with a good plan for the dark store, how it should be built, and then we just build it. So basically, what we try to ensure here that there will be as less manual labor as possible. There will be a lot of automated operations, and we will try to encourage and like transfer as much expertise here as we can, because there are actually some certain ways of the dark store business, so it works in a way it should. And we know those ways, and we are, of course, giving that information to our customers. So how we actually ensure that our processes are in line. First of all, we, of course, as I already started telling you, build the warehouse layout, and that makes it possible to make available the smart warehouse routing. So let me just jump to the next slide here. And basically, we assign particular storage zones to each place in the dark store. So we just place the shelves there. We name all the shelves by particular naming. So like it is here in the example, for example, shelf AA1. And we identify what type of storage will this shelf will serve. It could be like a refrigerator or a freezer. It could be a simple ambient shelf. And by also with the help of our team, we plan what kind of items are going to be stored on that shelf. So each shelf has a unique QR code, and basically each shelf is unique. And as soon as we are accepting like first delivery, since we have already identified what items should be stored on what type of shelves, our system actually proposes a particular shelf for us to place new items on. Yeah. So, also, if we want to have a look at the shelf sometime, we can just dive into it in the WMS system, and that will be possible for us to see what exact SKUs are there and how many items are there. So we have the full transparency here. And what do we do it actually for? We do it for smart warehouse topology. If we know where our items are and at which exact shelves, then during order preparation, where we need as much speed as we can get, right? We can make it possible to be very fast. So how does it happen? Since all of our dark store is planned, we have like a certain topology of a dark store. Here is the zone of like ambient shelf, here is the refrigerator zone, and here is the freezer zone. So, and the plan, of course, is much more complicated than this example. And whenever we get an order, we can see in our Picker application a particular chain and order of shelves that we need to come to, and particular order of items that we need to pick up. So basically, when a Picker employee, a storekeeper, gets a notification on his Picker app and he understands that he needs to pick up an order, he has like no freedom here. And it's not a bad thing because a machine, our smart algorithm that is working on our warehouse topology, has already counted everything on how, in what order all the items should be collected. So the picking process here is the most efficient and the fastest. So basically, picker just doesn't need to think. He just, okay, I need to come to shave A1 and I need to pick up this bottle of water. And as soon as he scans the item, he just understands that he needs to come to the shelf A3 and then pick up another item. And by the way, of course, if he picks up the wrong item, of course, the picker up wouldn't accept that and he wouldn't let him go further if until the right item is scanned. So basically, yeah, this is it. This is how it happens. And here we have actually the presentation of our order picking with the screenshots from our Picker app. So basically, that's how the Picker app looks. There are different categories of tasks, but now we are concentrated on the order picking, and there are some tasks here. So we started, we see each item there. It's also very important for the image to be very clear and to be very to display um, the actual image of the item. So the picker just easily finds it on the shelf. And also we can place here some advice on packaging, right? So some basic stuff like that household items should be packaged in the separate bag, and they shouldn't be placed with some hot food or anything. Or it could be some kind of particular devices, particular advices for particular business. So whatever our customers want to place here, we can place it here. And after that, order is just being completed, and picker can just go and start another order preparation, and this order is being approved and prepared, so the courier can pick it up and deliver it. Also, there are some automated tasks that are available in our WMS system and Picker Up. And when I was talking about item control tasks, I was referring to exactly these kind of operations. So when we are accepting our items, so when we are accepting supplies, we of course try to make it as accurate as it just can be. But of course, there are some actions and there are some cases where those stocks should be recounted. And one of those actions is automated control of expired goods, right? So basically, when we are accepting our items, as I told you before, we are putting the expiration date, and as soon as that expiration date comes very close, and let's say it's 3 days, let's say it's 5 days, it's actually depending on the category of the item. You can set up that number of days yourself during like the implementation process. And as soon as we are is any of the items comes very close to the expiration date, we are actually getting a notification for the picker. Please come to that shelf and find all the Coca-Cola cans that are being expired soon. And that is actually how we ensure that none of the expired items are coming to our customers. And so during that time, we actually need to understand that only items with the needed expiration date are left on the shelf. Also, of course, right after the expired items are found, we need to write them off. And there are like different techniques of working with nearly expired items. We can offer some additional discounts on nearly expired items, or we can just write them off right away. And for operation that is created for write-off is also purely automatical. So as soon as we found some items during the item control task, we are actually just getting a notification again. Okay, you found the expired items, please write them off. So nothing actually should be controlled by a storekeeper himself. Application always tells him what to do. Okay, and one more addition here regarding the warehouse processes. We are actually not only covering standard operations like recounts, like inventorization and order preparation. We can also work on the different kinds of orders even. For example, there is an option to open like a dark store kitchen in your dark store, and we have a separate module for that. So basically it would be something very similar that restaurants use for their order preparation. Basically, when the customer orders something from the dark kitchen, there is a separate like location, dark kitchen, where a cook who is like a dark store chef, if I may, he gets notification like on the huge screen, and he sees the recipe of that exact dish that has been ordered. He sees all the actions, and also um, we track all of the timelines of the preparation, so we can also ensure that all of that preparation happens very fast. And as soon as the chef is ready with his prepared dish, the picker can just pick it up and give it to the courier when the order is completely prepared. And what is actually really important here, when we are talking about dark kitchens, we are also ensuring that all the dishes that we display on our customer application are available at the moment, because inventory is also about the dark kitchen here, because we are tracking all the ingredients that we need to prepare this particular meal, right? And if we understand that there is not enough pepper for this salad, there are like no pepper anymore, we will just not display that salad on the customer application. So that is actually also about better customer service. And when we constantly prove that we always deliver what is ordered from us, there will be a lower cancellation rate and higher customer satisfaction. Okay, then. A couple of more challenges, but they are going to be very quick now. So basically, what is also very important is to ensure that efficient demand planning is happening for the dark stores. And when we do not understand our demand, we of course can never schedule right amount of supplies, and we can never know how many items do we need to have on stocks, so we would um, satisfy that demand. And of course, there are different complications, different reasons that why it happens, and so some of items are really fluctuating by season. Some of the demand are is very, very hard to predict because there is lack of data for that demand. And actually, that also gives us some problems. It also causes some problems when we never supply like chips to the dark store, and customers always want to order chips from the dark stores and they are never there. We, of course, will either get undersell or even customer like lower customer retention. Customer will just not come back to us if we don't give them what they are waiting for and what they will to order. Basically, how we propose to do that, to overcome this challenge. First of all, there should be actually an algorithm which analyzes all the historic data about purchases, about the customer behavior, when those orders were made, what was ordered, and analyzing all of that data, some algorithm, for example, an algorithm that we provide, is able to count the needed amount of supplies that is needed for this particular dark store in this area, in this season, for this month. And that is actually what is happening us, that is helping us to keep the metrics like write-off very low, on-shelf availability very high, and we undersell in the very rare cases because we have everything that our customers needs available. Also, when we are working on that, when we are working on demand planning, we try to really lower the metrics of write-offs, for example, and we can do it, for example, with dynamic discounts and pricing algorithms. That's what I actually mentioned about nearly expired items. For example, when the item is being expired like in 2 days and we need to sell it like right now or just write it off, we are choosing like sell it right now. And when we are choosing that, there should be, of course, a technical ability to do that. And there is just a particular type of discount that can be turned on for that kind of items. And that type of discount will just be flashing very brightly and it will say like 50% off because it will expire like in 2 days. So just don't miss this deal. And those items, like some percentage of that nearly expired items can actually be sold. So we not only are not like minimizing our losses, we are even like rising our sales here. So, last challenge that we need to cover now is our analytics. And analytics is something that is, of course, always important because to understand how efficient we are, to understand how the things are going, we need to analyze and see the retrospective here. So, of course, when there is no centralized system, there will be no centralized analytics. That I think is pretty clear. And since we are providing centralized systems for dark store management, we are offering it along with a bunch of good analytics reports. And those reports are not only like good, there has been years of experience that let us understand what kind of metrics we should be looking at so we can keep up with everything going on. And basically, these are some particular reports. First of all, is real-time warehouse metrics. When we see like preparation speed, and if we see like big fluctuations here, we can dive into particular operation and see who is doing wrong, so we can actually act very fast on that. WMS health dashboard. It's also covering all the important metrics here. And basically here we are able to even compare dark stores to each other. So if we operate several dark stores, we are able to compare them to each other so we could understand. Probably it will also gives us some insights of what is going wrong here and there. And of course, there are some basic reports which we provide in our like additional solution for BI. And these are the dark store's main metrics, some basic stuff, but still very important commercial P&L, and one more dashboard about warehouse KPI. So basically, having all of that analytics is giving us an opportunity to understand what is happening right now and to also compare your dark stores to each other, to see the retrospective and to get some insights from it, and of course act on the challenges that are highlighted with all of that analytics. Okay, that is actually all about the challenges. And on that slide, that displays all the possible benefits that can be brought up to life when we are overcoming that challenges. I would just ask you if you have any questions here. And if you have any questions, please just text to the chat and we'll just address all of the questions and discuss everything that in the like 10 minutes that are left. I unfortunately cannot see the chat. Could please someone from our marketing team help me with that?
Yes, Anastasia, I can't see any questions in the
Okay,
chat.
okay. I got it. I got it. Okay, then. Then I guess thank you everyone for listening, and please don't hesitate to come to us if you are
Wait a second. One
okay.
person is typing a question, so we need to wait a little bit.
Oh, let's wait. Okay. There was a question here. What of in a case where you have a variety of products, are these managed in one dark store, or there is a system that is built to manage pickups and in different dark stores that are specialized for certain products? Well, thank you for that question. That actually is a great question here. How we propose to how do you decide the assortments of the dark store? Okay, sure. Basically, our general algorithm, our general approach here is to make each dark store kind of standalone. So when order is placed by a customer, it should be delivered totally from that same dark store. And since we are um, working so hard on making our inventory information, our stock information very accurate, and we try to display it in our client application or a website in a very accurate way, we are, of course, displaying the stock information about one particular dark store. And what assortment and what stock levels are displayed in the client app or a website will depend on customer's location or the address that he chose for delivery. So basically answering to your questions, answering to your question, when we are planning a dark store, we are trying to fit all the assortment in one dark store. And then we are also delivering from just one dark store, one order from one dark store. If there is a need to like write among all of the dark stores and pick up orders by parts, that will never be fast. And when we are talking about Q-commerce, especially grocery, the speed here is a very important feature, important thing that we need to live up to. So basically answering your question, one dark store, one order from one dark store, and all the assortment of the dark store is in one dark store. Yeah. I hope I have answered your question. And how do you decide the assortment of a dark store? Thank you for that question as well. I can also shed some light on that. Of course, our customers who are retailers, most of the time, they have their own understanding on their assortment, and that understanding mixed with our expertise, what is sold very good in the dark stores, what is like not the best item for the dark stores, they can share that experience, and together with our implementation team that is always helping on the build phase and implementation phase, we are deciding together what assortment will be. But of course, we expect the retailer himself to like give us a base, and we will review it just together, and we'll understand how to what should be actually stored and sold from dark stores. Also, how do you decide the collection of items kept in a dark store are such that one dark store has all items for a need of a customer? That is that is actually a tricky question. If every retailer knew every time what should be sold in each store, they of course will be would have been millionaires, I guess, milliardaires or like the most successful people. And that's what I actually was telling about demand planning. When I was telling about demand planning, I mentioned that we need to analyze demand in different areas of the city where we place our dark stores, in different seasons, in different parts of the day. For example, in the morning, some particular items are ordered compared to the evening when the different set of items is usually ordered. And how do we like create a perfect assortment? Creating perfect assortment is basically very creative task, and that is a task of a retailer, and we can also help with that. And it should be solved by analyzing a lot of data and understanding your customer profile and what your customer wants. If you are a q-commerce retailer for like very fast delivery, for example, you would need to understand what is usually needed by people who want the delivery to be very fast. So it something probably simple and something that they forgot to buy before. There are some home supplies or something like that. So basically, there are like huge research on that topic, and each of the retailers, of course, is doing his own research, and we are, of course, helping with that as well. I hope I have answered the question. So I think this is it then. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope it was useful to hear all that information. And as far as I understand, there are no more questions. Email if we would like to book a demo with you. Of course, that is not a problem. I think you could just contact me or some of our marketing team in LinkedIn, or an email can also be shared, I think, in the follow-up message. Yeah, I think it's not going to be a problem. Of course, we'll do that. Okay, then. Thank you for all of the questions. It was really nice to see you here. Goodbye.